Yes, finally. I have no idea what happened there, but I'm very sorry about that. I had lost my connection to the internet for some reason. So yes, I was looking at the currencies. So New Zealand dollar, US dollar. That was the currency that I was looking for. So this is a probable trade, and the reason for that is because we have been declining for the last four trading days, and we are getting very close to the 50 moving average and also the 40 exponential moving average. And as you can see, the last time we were here, we bounced and so on and so on. So the 20, the 40, and the 50 have been very, very supported for this currency pair. We can go way, way back here. It is also right here. When you get to the 40, it bounces and so on. So it doesn't look like we are going to break below this. At this point, it looks like we are going to just see more of the same. However, we need this to basically turn around. So these are one of the currencies that I'm looking for in order to enter for a buy. And you can also see in the technical indicators, this is not ready yet. We need to get lower here in the Bollinger Band. We also have to turn around in the MACD. The RSI is okay, and the CCI is not okay, and the stochastic is not okay either. We can also look at the four different time frames for this. You can see we are in the short run breaking down. For example, this is the 50-minute. So we are rallying up towards the 20 exponential and then breaking down. And then breaking down, and then we are rallying here also in the 30 minutes and then also breaking down. So in the 1 hour chart, it also is the same. We are rallying up towards the 200 moving average and then breaking down. However, when you get to the 4 hour chart, it starts to look more promising. So we have broken down 4 times in the past. Right here, we have broken down and then rallied. Also broken down here and rallied. So we are in a channel here. We can basically look at the line which is here. You can write it up like that. We are getting very close to that area where historically it has been very supportive. So if it drops roughly a few points more, we should see something similar here in the 4 hour chart that will be very choppy and then rally to the upside. So that's why I'm looking for this currency in order to buy it to the upside. So we're going to look at one more, and that is the Great British Pound, the US dollar. So in my technical analysis yesterday, I said that we were going to expect a pullback. We did see this pullback here. We are rallying a little bit today, but I do think that we are going to see more of a pullback. So we're most likely going towards the 20 exponential. So that is just above the 20 moving average here in the Bollinger Band. And after that, we may see this rally. If we break below the 20 exponential, then we're going to the 20 and the 50. So in order to enter, for example, this trade, you have to see the price action go towards the 20 exponential. And if it doesn't turn around there, then is a very high probability that will go towards the 40 and the 50, similar to what we saw here. So it has done this several times the last few months. We saw it here, 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 also here. So up to 8 times the last since the beginning of November. So in that case, it is very predictable of where it basically is going, but it just takes some time to enter this market at this point. It's just pure gambling. You need to break towards the 20. If that doesn't hold, it will break towards the 50, and that's where you can basically enter for a buy. So the idea here is that if it were to break below the 20 and go towards the 50, then you would add a stop loss right underneath the 50, because that is in order to secure where if your trade goes sideways. If it starts then breaking completely down towards the 100, which is possible, then this is basically the thing that will save your trade. You'll of course lose a small amount or amount of money. I don't know how much you invest. However, you will not lose the same amount if it were to break all the way down to the 100 moving average. So all trades will not go perfectly. Some of them will go wrong, and that's why it is always important to add a stop loss. The target here are, for example, the previous highs. So break towards the 50 moving average and then target these previous highs. So that's a move of roughly 232 pips if we were to go towards the 50 moving average. And you would have a safety trigger here, a stop loss, in order to secure that this trade doesn't go even further down. The way you basically lose money in trading is by either having this too far down, so the distance between where you enter and where you target is nearly the same, so you could basically put it down here, then you risk of losing this entire area. The other way you lose money is basically to change the stop loss constantly. So you can choose to change it, but to constantly change it and try to catch a trade, that is absolutely deadly for an account. Trust me, I have tried that in the past. That is something that you definitely don't want to do. Stick to your stop loss. It is irritating when a trade goes bad, but it's even more irritating if you then change your stop loss and you go further and further down and you lose 10 times the money that you basically wanted to lose. So this is a trade I am looking for. So it needs to go towards the 20 or the 50 in order to enter this trade. And the last currency I have on this list is the CAD. Yes, we saw this earlier on. So this is also an interesting trade because we're running into resistant support here at the 50 moving average. And the reason why you can't enter this at the moment is because these technical indicators are not ready to turn around. So the MACD is still bearish. The stochastic is still bearish, and also the CCI is bearish. But if you look historically how this has been behaving, you can see that the 40 has been very supportive. We have an instance here where we break down, but otherwise the 50 and 40 have been very, very supportive for a very long time now. So it is highly probable that it still will be supportive now. If you look at the 4-hour frame, we can see that we are still trending downwards here in the 50-minute chart. We're also trending downwards here in the half an hour chart, and the same goes for the 1-hour chart. But the 4-hour chart, we have found quite a lot of support where we are right now. So you can look at this area here, this area, and almost this area, but this area as well, and this area. This area here has been an area where this has turned around. So you can make a marker around this area, and you can see that we touched it there. So every time we get towards this area in this currency pair, this has tended to turn around. And it is very likely that it will do the same thing here. So, for example, we can take this breakdown as an example where to enter this market. So you should not enter the market right there. That will also be pure gambling. You should basically enter the market there. If I can zoom even more. So this candlestick there, just higher than the previous lows, that is where you should have entered this market and the target of the 50 moving average. Or if you look at the Bollinger Band, this should have been basically the middle of the Bollinger Band. So this should be, if you look at the 4-hour chart in the Bollinger Band, pretty sure this is the top of the Bollinger Band, this is the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and the 50 moving average, or give or take here, it should be nearly the middle of the Bollinger Band. So we can also look at that if that is the case. 4 hours, you can see that is the top, that is the bottom. 50 moving average is roughly around this area here, and that is also where the middle of the Bollinger Band. So it may drop a little bit further towards this area, but this is still within the area of interest. And when we get there, it may rally towards the middle of the Bollinger Band or even the top. So the middle is a small trade of 0.34%, and the top here can be up to 0.65% or 60 pips. But it is fairly easy trade because you target these previous highs or these previous highs, and the 50 moving average is fairly supportive still. So we can go and look at the scans. I hope this is still, yes. There is no problem with the internet connection right now. So yes, so we can go to the scans. So I have this box here, and this box is basically the technical scan for the market, either to check for stocks or indices or foreign exchange market, for to see instruments that are oversold or overbought. So the way you do that, you go to these to this, and you get basically a check of where the market is at this current stage. So I can get rid of this, and I can show you where you do it. You choose this, and you have your pre-built instruments, and mine is down here with the Bollinger Band. So we want to check when price is underneath the Bollinger Band, first of all. And that basically means that you want to check when price action is significantly overstretched, when people have been selling things and basically are panic selling, and it's gone way under the Bollinger Band. So we press that, say OK, and then you have your scan, and down here we have the S&P 500 that we scan, and we have up to 44 companies that we can look at. So first of all is this one. So I don't really care what these companies produce. Technically don't care where they are and so on. So of course, this is the TC2000, and that's only the US stock exchange. So the S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, those are the company or the indices that I check, and it's over 5,000 companies in the US stock exchange, so it's more than enough to check those. But in order to find the very best trades, you have to do scans. In order to go through 5,000 companies every day, that's technically impossible. You'll never get to where you want to be if you want to do that. So the scans basically help you, because now we have 9 companies that we can look at. There are 9 companies that are significantly overstretched out of the 5,000. So this one is AKAM, and we can see here in the Bollinger Band, this is what we're scanning for. It is fairly outside of the Bollinger Band. We can look at the RSI. We are 41. That is too high at this point. But then you can also look at other things. So this is not ready to start buying this at the moment. And the reason why I say that is because we see the stochastic is still bearish, the MACD is still bearish, and so is the CCI. And we are fairly high in the RSI. We should be at 30 or something like that. Then it would be more interesting. So what I expect to happen here is that we'll see something similar to this. We may see this stock go underneath the line here, which is the 300 moving average. And the next 3 to 5 days, we may be staying around this line. If that is the case, there is a very high probability that we will rally from here. So we probably won't go lower. 100 will most likely be as low as we'll go. And we most likely will rally up towards at least the middle of the Bollinger Band. So that is here at 111. So that's a trade of, give or take, give or take 12.3%. And that's a very, very good trade. I'll take 12% of trades every single day. Usually I close them at if I do several trades, 5, 6, 3% profit. Several of those trades, that becomes quite a lot of profit in the long run. You can also look at the 4-hour chart. That usually helps and gives an indication where this probably could go. So this is still trending downwards, and it's still trending downwards here, still trending downwards here, and it has found a fairly floor here, roughly at the $100 range. But still, this is not a trade that is 100% 100% ready to enter. You have to see what basically happens when the market opens. If we start rallying from here, then yes, that is possible. And what I would do is that I would put a stop loss right underneath this price action here, and I would target them in the beginning. So you can always change it. If this looks really good and it starts rallying to the upside, then yes, you can basically change it and it will continue, and then you can get a much better trade. So we can look at another one I had on my list here were several. So we have it here. We have this one, which is looking far, far better than the other one. You can see that you can take the daily chart. We are way outside here of the Bollinger Band. The RSI is at 34. And yes, this is looking much better. So we are nearly overbought. We are fairly overstretched here. And the probability that we'll rally towards the middle of the Bollinger Band or the top of the Bollinger Band is significantly higher in this trade than it is for the other trade. So what we're looking at here is that we may see a rally from 52 to the middle of the Bollinger Band that is roughly here at the 50 moving average. So that's a trade to the upside of roughly 4.27%. If we break the 50 moving average, then we go to the top of the Bollinger Band, which is at 56, and that's a trade of 7.7% to the upside. So, and you can look at the technical indicators; they are showing signs of this turning around. So you can also look at the historical pattern here, the 100 moving average, 300 moving average, where we are at the moment, and 150 have been very supportive in the past, and it's very likely that it will be the same thing today. If you look at the 4 different charts here, we can also see that we are starting to turn around at the 50. We're starting to turn around here in the half an hour, and we're starting to turn around here in the 1 hour. So in the 4-hour chart, we can see that we are running into a lot of support here in the 200 moving average, and this is a very clear sign that we are most likely going to rally from here. So this is a stock that you should be paying attention to in order to buy to the upside. So next one on my list here is Cern. I had it there. So very similar trade here, and it's even better. You can see how far outside of the Bollinger Band we are at this point. We can see that we are at 34 here in the RSI, so nearly oversold, and we are way overstretched here. And if you just look at the historical pattern here, the green line, which is the 100 moving average, has been very supportive in the past. We can go and look at the 1-hour chart. We can see that the blue line is the same as the 100 moving average. We ran into it here, and we rallied all the way to the top when we did that the last time, 16.5% rally. We did the same thing here. We did the same thing there, and so on. So historical patterns, they do matter, because things usually behave the same way in the future. So if it has done this in the past, it's very likely it will do the same thing in the future. So if you look at this, we may see a rally towards previous highs or even higher than that. That's roughly a trade of 12%. If you look at the 4 different time frames, you can see that we are running into support here, running into support here. It is basically like this looks like a hook when it turns around. The same goes for here, turning around, also turning around. And the reason for that is because we are running into major support here at the 200 moving average in the 4-hour chart. So in this trade, what we're looking at is to make stop loss right underneath here, underneath the 100 moving average, and a target of the middle of the Bollinger Band. That's the first target. That's roughly at 79, and then the top of the Bollinger Band right there. So if we surpass this, then we can go and target that. Otherwise, both of them are fairly good trades. We can see that, let me get rid of this as well. You can see that if we start buying here and target the middle of the Bollinger Band, that's a trade of 5.3%. Top of the Bollinger Band, that's a trade of 8.6%. So the last one on my list here was Pepsi. So PepsiCo. So we can see also here in the Bollinger Band, we are way outside. We are actually trending downwards, but this is getting very overstretched. The RSI is still fairly high, but historically, this has been a level where we have turned around. You can just put a line here. You can see when we got to this level in the past, we may go a little bit lower, but when we got to this level in the past, we rallied quite substantially. So last time we were here, we rallied from the bottom to the top here. That's a trade of roughly 11.3%. So yes, that is possible trade as well. If you look at the Bollinger Band, it may take some, no, not the Bollinger Band, 4-hour chart. It may take some time, but we can see that this area here has been an area of interest. So it may go a little bit further. You can see it gets a little bit overstretched and then it goes higher. So that is what we are looking for. So entry here should be something similar to this. It's not to buy it at the bottom, it's to buy it on the way up. So to buy it around this area there and then target the middle of the Bollinger Band or the top of the Bollinger Band. So the last trade I had on my list here was pool. So in this case, we are way outside of the Bollinger Band here, and we have a significantly low RSI. So RSI of 24 is very, very low. So this is what technically panic selling looks like. People are just dumping this stock, and that means that we can basically take advantage of it. So this could go lower. So just keep in mind, we could go to the 200 moving average. That is where we could go. But I do expect this to pull back at least a little bit. So when you have this amount of sell-off, usually when it's really, really bad earnings and something like that, and people just dump the stock, and it basically goes too low. And that scenario, you can basically take advantage of that because people will see, okay, it's very low RSI, very outside of the Bollinger Band, and it will most likely rally the next day, and therefore they start buying it. So in this case, we could see a rally up towards the middle of the Bollinger Band, roughly 9%. Top of the Bollinger Band is 14%, but keep in mind, we could go lower and hit the 200 moving average. I don't think this will go even lower than the 200 moving average. We can look at the 4-hour charts to see if there is a turnaround. So it's looking like this hook shape that it usually makes. So it may take some more time for this to turn around here. The same goes for this. But here we can see that we are running into support. This area and this area here. So in between this area, we will see this turn around. So it could drop another $10 before turning around. But after that, it should be quite a lot of choppiness and then go to the upside. If we break this line, then yes, then we'll go significantly lower. We'll go all the way down to this area here, which is the next support level. Yes, any questions? So this was not, I spent most of the time because of the internet going down. Very sorry for that. But do you have any questions? Because it's 10 minutes before the US stock exchange basically opens. Any stocks or currency or anything that you want me to basically look at? Okay. So on Monday, I will have this will start at around 1 p.m. And usually on Monday, I do take the news for the week. I look at the schedule for the week. I did consider shorting platinum yesterday. I did do that, but to be very honest, when some days when it just doesn't go your way, it is often better just to stay away from the market. So this has basically been a week where nothing really has gone my way. The long-term investments in Bitcoin or in cryptocurrency has basically been the things that have been positive. Otherwise, other trades have been all over the place. I was expecting a pullback in most of the indices and so on, and that has not occurred. So the plans that I made for most trades this week, they did not go the way that I hoped. And I usually don't jump to a trade. Platinum, it is probably a better idea to wait for it to drop towards support and then start buying again. It is rallying significantly, and it doesn't look like that rally is going to stop anytime soon. Oil is also another commodity that is looking really good. It will most likely drop to $55 or $56, and then it will rally towards 60. So I'll most likely enter a buy trade around that area for oil. Yes, so I'll leave you to it. We'll be back on Monday, and I'll fix this internet problem I'm having at this current stage. Just write to me on Patreon if you have any questions. So good luck, and thank you very much. Pullback crypto, that could actually happen at any point. You kind of have to look at Bitcoin because it looks like Bitcoin is the leader there. It is stabilizing at $45,000, and it doesn't look like it's pulling back anytime soon to the $40,000 range. But if it does, then yes, you'll see most of these cryptocurrencies that have been absolutely parabolic. For example, Neon and what's the other one? It's ADA. And many of those that have, and also Dash. It has been really, really crazy. I think Dash is up 100% in a week or something like that. So yes. So good luck and thank you very much.